Hello and welcome back to the Knowledge Catalog's Grade 9 Chemistry. This is still Sir Carlos, and we are still in the process of mastering the third learning competency in this series. The third learning competency is as follows. It is explaining the formation of ionic and covalent compounds. If you want to follow through with some sort of a reading material, you can always open your learner's module to Unit 2, Module 2, pages 24 to 26. So, the first thing we'll be doing is an activity number 2, Lewis symbol, and then you will be jumping to to a discussion on operations in chemistry. These are several examples from example A to F. So, I hope that you will be able to catch up with these very important examples because they are progressing from a simple hanggang dun sa mas medyo mga komplikadong mga examples na. Okay? So, Ayan, I hope you will be keeping your notebook and an extra sheet of clean paper at all times beside you. And of course, writing instrument like a pen or a pencil. Let's start. The objectives for activity number 2 is that you will be able, by the end of this activity, to write the Lewis symbol of the common metals and non-metals, and then to show the relationship among the number of valence electrons and electronegativity. Okay, so those are the two objectives. And the materials you will be needing are the following: paper, pencil, and a periodic table. Okay, so if you have a periodic table with you, that's actually very good. Because you're ready to start the activity. But if you do not have one, you can pause this video muna so that ready na kayo sa pag-take ninyo ng activity na to. Okay, so if you have decided to continue, that means you are ready for the activity. So this is a table of elements from the periodic table of elements. And as you can see in the first column, it is the name of the element: lithium, fluorine, sulfur, calcium, nitrogen, and aluminum. So lithium, as an example, comes from family 1 or group 1, and it has the following Lewis symbol. And its electronegativity is 0.98. So what I would like you to do is to get your periodic table and look for the family and groups of the following elements. Their Lewis symbol, you have to just take a review of the past discussions we did on the Lewis symbol, and then identify as well their electronegativity. You will be finding this in your periodic table. So if you need more time in filling this table up, you can always pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you're ready to answer the following guide questions. So guide question number 1A, you have to arrange these elements. Okay, these elements by saying these elements are lithium, fluorine, sulfur, calcium, nitrogen, and aluminum in increasing valence electrons. Pause this video if you need more time. If you have decided to continue, that means you're ready to answer question 1B. Arrange these elements in increasing electronegativity values. Pause this video if you need more time. If you have decided to continue, that means you're ready for the next question. Question number 2. What do you notice with the number of valence electrons and electronegativity values of the elements? So, ano napansin ninyo dun sa valence electrons and electronegativity values of mga elements? So, they have like a significant relationship, some obvious pattern. If you need more time, pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready for the next question. Question number 3. What kind of element has the greatest tendency to attract electrons? Why? Okay, this is actually, we're talking about metals, non-metals here, so, or metalloids. So, which of those elements do you think has the greatest tendency to attract electrons? Pause this video if you need more time. If you have decided to continue, that means you're ready to check your own work. Okay, so for the families, groups, Lewis symbols, and electronegativities of the elements, just take note of the following. Okay, so merong number of dots yung mga yan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the case of fluorine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the case of sulfur. 1 and 2 in the case of calcium. Nitrogen has 5, and then aluminum has 3 dots in it. And then these are their electronegativity values. The answer to question number 1A is lithium first, then followed by calcium, aluminum, nitrogen, sulfur, and fluorine. The answer to question 1B Lithium first, followed by calcium, aluminum, nitrogen, sulfur, and fluorine. The answer to question number 2, as the number of valence electrons increases, electronegativity also increases. The answer to question number 3, nonmetals have the greatest tendency to attract electrons because they have high electronegativity. Okay, so there you go. You're done with the activity number 2, Lewis symbol. You can now jump to example A. Okay, for the purpose of making these examples more organized, we are going to label this example as example A. Okay, so again, this is example A. Hopefully, maganda yung sulat ko dito. Example A. And for example A, we'll begin with the simplest element, which is hydrogen. So hydrogen, ayan siya. Its chemical symbol is H, and you can actually confirm this by getting your periodic table. You'll see hydrogen in the upper left hand corner ng mga periodic tables ninyo. Ayan, so what I need you to remember are the following. Okay, so we need to locate the atomic number and the atomic mass for hydrogen. So atomic mass is written dito sa may taas, tapos ito naman. Okay, so halimbawa, hydrogen, ito siya. We will be writing the atomic mass right here, symbolized by A, and then we will be writing the atomic number, okay, symbolized by Z, right there. So look at your periodic table and identify the atomic mass for hydrogen. I'll give you a moment. You can pause this video if you need more time. If you have decided to continue, that means you found it, okay? And then I hope you're following through as well. Kuha kayo ng paper ninyo, an extra sheet of paper or your notebooks in science, and then do this, okay? Follow through. So the atomic mass for hydrogen is recorded there as 1.0078 or 1.0082. Alright, so we are going to report that as a whole number, and in this case, it will be 1. Whole number kasi. Okay, and then the atomic number of hydrogen, you may not be able to get this yet, pero it is actually just the number, okay, in the tile na atomic. Makita niyo naman yung legend, atomic number sasabihin niyo dyan. And then its atomic number is 1. Ayan. Ayan. So that is the first step in our operations. Just make sure that you have your symbol and then the atomic mass and the atomic number. Okay, now what's the next part of the step? We need to properly report how many electrons do we need to distribute. Okay, so I would like you to take note of the word distribute. Okay, so distribute kasi ang gagawin natin, ilalagay natin ang mga electrons na para ba silang mga buto, mga seeds, okay, sa mga individual containers nila. Okay, so we need to count first kung ilan yung mga buto na i-distribute natin. Okay, so kung sungkayan, okay, saan natin ilalagay yung mga bato or yung mga buto. Okay, so the number of electrons of hydrogen, it may not be directly stated in your periodic tables, but remember that the number of electrons is always equal to the number of protons. Way back in grade 8, diba? Ayan. It's number of protons. And that number is also equal to the atomic number. Wala rin yung number of protons, pero you know kung ano yung atomic number, right? And in the case of hydrogen, the atomic number is 1. Therefore, there is only 1 electron. Alright, that completes the second step of our operation. I hope you don't have any confusions yet, because this is a very simple, it's a very simple example. Yeah, okay. So the third part of our operation, let me just encircle them para hindi kayo ma-confuse. Ayan. So for the third part of our operation, we are going to write the electronic configuration of hydrogen. You will see this sa may bandang ilalim ng mga periodic tables ninyo. I just look at the periodic table, and then you will find this at the bottom. Do not worry, to guide you in using your periodic tables, I will be uploading a separate video for the interactive periodic table that I created. Or actually, naka-ano na yun. Okay, naka-upload na yun. Just search it through my videos. And so the electronic configuration for hydrogen looks like this. Okay, 1s1. Can you confirm this on your periodic tables? Can you see 1s1? I'll give you a moment. Pause this video if you need more time. Remember that. Okay, if you have decided to continue, that means you have found it. Let's now continue with the fourth part of our operation. The fourth part of our operation is, it goes like this. We need to draw, okay, based from Bohr's planetary model, how many neutrons, okay, so pansin nyo, wala pa neutrons dyan. How many neutrons are in the nucleus, how many protons are in the nucleus, and how many electrons are in the cloud, and how are they distributed? So, ano yung mga questions na sasagutin natin? Okay, so first is, let me just make it green. Say, for instance, this is the nucleus. So, the first the first question we need to ask is, how many neutrons are in the nucleus? How many protons are in the nucleus? And how many electrons are found in the energy levels? And so we begin with the number of neutrons. Okay, paano natin malalaman yung number of neutrons? We begin with the number of protons. So remember, the number of protons is equal to the atomic number and equal to electron. And in the case of hydrogen, the number of electrons are 1. It's only 1. Therefore, hydrogen will also have 1 proton in its nucleus. It's just that we're talking about an electrically neutral atom here. Okay, so proton is 1. And then, how do we get the number of neutrons? Simple. The nucleus has much of the mass. Okay, nandito lahat halos ng ang mass ng buong atom. Okay, and yung nandyan lang kasing particles ay yung proton at saka yung neutron. So, ibig sabihin nun, itong dalawang subatomic particles na to, silang dalawa lang yung nagko-contribute dun sa mass, kabuuang mass ng atom. Kung meron makontribute ang electron, masyado nang negligible yon. Okay, masyado nang maliit. It is so negligible that we don't really, it doesn't really affect the mass, the overall atomic mass that much. Okay, again, the overall or much of the mass, okay, so much of the mass of the atom is concentrated in the nucleus. And in the nucleus, you will find only the neutrons and protons. Therefore, if you want to look for the mass, you just have to identify how many protons are there and how many neutrons are there, and then combine them to get the atomic mass. Okay, so, but in this case, we started with, meron na tayong mass, ito siya. So, hydrogen, the atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. So, A, atomic mass is equal to 1. Right? Okay, so kanina sa explanation ko, the number of neutrons must be added to the number of protons para makuha mo si A. If A is equal to 1, proton is equal to 1 as well. Remember, okay, kamukha lang niya si electron. And missing ang ating neutron. Okay, so what do we need to do? Okay, we just have to subtract, okay, 1 from both sides of the equation. Ayan. And makakancel out ito. Matitira na lang sa side na to is neutron. Okay, neutron. And since ito positive and negative, you'll only have 0. So we have how many neutrons? There are no neutrons in this atom of hydrogen. Ayan. So, but are we done with the fourth part? With the fourth step? Not yet. Okay, so we need to, wala pa yung electrons sa scene. So we need to locate kung nasan yung mga electrons. Okay, so how do we do that now? We start with this. we look back at the third thing that we did, which is the electron configuration. Okay, and that is this one right here is our only electron for hydrogen. Okay, now what we need to do is to locate kung saan siya makikita. Okay, so yung mga lalagyan ng electrons are what we call as energy levels. Okay, so for us to know kung ilan ang mga lalagyan, na pwedeng paglagyan ng electrons, we need to refer to these numbers. Itong number na to na 1, okay, it signifies only the presence of one container. Therefore, we only are going to write one container. This is the first energy level. So let us just label it Roman numeral number 1. We only have one container. And this container contains what? How many electrons? Only one. So there's only one electron in this container. Now, is there any other electron in this electron configuration? Wala na. Okay, so that is the fourth step. Okay, so the fourth step is to just draw the nucleus, how many neutrons and protons will you find, and then draw the energy levels where you will find the electrons, and then just solve for how many electrons are you going to find in each of them. So we only have one energy level, and in that energy level there's only one electron. Now the fifth step is this one. So the fifth step is we are going to describe the orbitals. Okay, so we look back again at the third thing that we did. Okay, the orbitals, we start by looking back at this, and we need to copy this as it is. So 1s1. Okay, so 1s1. Okay, so what the next thing we will be doing is this S. Okay, S is a container. Okay, in the first energy level that can have 2 electrons. Okay, so there are only so far 4 letters: S, P, D, and F. S is only one container. P, it's 3 containers or 3 blanks. D has 5, and F has 7. Now, each of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tama ba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kulang pa. Isa. Ayan. Each of these can contain a maximum of 2 electrons. Okay, so anong ibig sabihin nun? It can contain a maximum of 2 electrons. Ibig sabihin, this is going to contain only one upward electron and one downward electron. P naman can contain one upward, and then later on they'll be paired with another one, and therefore this is going to be equal to 6 electrons. Okay, this one is a total of 2 electrons only. For D, upward, these are all upward electrons. I-fill up nyo muna lahat ng upward, okay? Hindi to kaartehan. You need to make sure that you fill it up muna with upward electrons and then fill it up with downward electrons. Ayan. It's a total of 10 electrons. Ayan siya. And then, for F naman, it has 7 containers. So, lagyan nyo muna lahat ng mga upward electrons. And then, give it some downward electrons. Downward spin. Okay, yung ginagawa ng mga yan. And this one is going to result to a total of 14 electrons. Okay, so, how many blanks are we going to draw next to it? Okay, only 1. And then, the electron is only 1. Okay, anong direction niya? Upward or downward? Okay, it's going to be upward. And that's it for the fifth step. Okay, we only drew the upward. Ito lang kasi yung electron yan, so we can't really do anything about it anymore. Ayan. So, next is, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to put it like this. Ayan. So, Ayan, so we have now 5 steps all in all. Okay, let's now continue with the last step. Okay, this is the last step. The last step is going to be the Lewis structure of hydrogen. How do we do this? For the Lewis structure, you need to write the chemical symbol first, which is in this case hydrogen, and then locate in the number in number 4 how many electrons are in the outermost shell. Okay, again, in the case of hydrogen, there is only one electron in the outermost. There's only one shell, and it also serves as the outermost shell, diba? So, ilang electron nandun sa shell na yun? Yeah, there's only one. So, you're only going to draw, okay, only one dot. Ayan. So, that concludes our first example. Okay, example A, okay, this is the complete solution for example A. So start with 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then you'll end up with 6 as the Lewis symbol. So, ayun. We'll be moving on to example B. Okay, now we have to move on. We have to move on to example letter B. So this is more complicated, of course, than hydrogen, pero it's not too complicated pa naman. So let's give it that. Example B. Yeah. So the element in question now is going to be lithium. Now, if you want to work on lithium based from how we did, did hydrogen a while ago, you can actually go ahead, okay, and just, pause this video and finish it from steps 1 to 6, and then just confirm kung tama yung ginawa mo or hindi. So you can pause this video and work on it. Now, if you have decided to continue, that means you're ready to check, or you would like to continue na lang with the process, okay, and see how it turns out. Okay, so the atomic mass for lithium is on your periodic table. It's 6.938 or 6.997, which we can round up to the nearest ones as 7. So we have to put 7, and then the atomic number is 3. So it's the third element in the periodic table. Now, the second part of the process, remember, is to properly report how many electrons do we need to distribute. So the number of electrons that we need to distribute, of course, since meron tayong atomic number na 3, is 3. Ayan. And then the third step is to do the electron configuration. So if you want to go ahead with the electron configuration, you may do it. Okay, the electron configuration for lithium, as you can see it from your periodic table 2, is 1s2, 2s2, 1s2, and 2s1. So we only have 3 electrons here. So ito, yung dalawa, andito sila. Okay, yung isa naman, ito siya. And then also take note that we have first energy level, and we now have the second energy level right here. Okay, so those are the things that you need to take note of. And we knew that because we did the third step, which is to write the electron configuration of lithium. That's what they mean. Okay, and the fourth step is going to be, I remember it is going to be the yung itsura. Okay, nung nucleus, the number of neutrons in the nucleus, the number of protons in the nucleus, and the number of energy levels present, and also the number of electrons present in each energy level. So, you know that there are 2 energy levels, the first and the second energy level, so you just have to draw it here. Okay, so the first energy level and the second energy level. And so we begin with the number of protons and the number of neutrons. So the number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. Very good. And then the number of neutrons is going to be atomic mass minus number of protons. So 7 minus 3 is going to be equal to 4. Ayan. Now, how many electrons are found in the first energy level? How would you know? Just look at these. Okay, for one, okay, 1s2, there are 2 electrons. So just write 2 electrons. And then for 2, and then second energy level, 2s, 1 lang ang meron siya. So it only has 1 electron. Okay, so before we continue, how many electrons are in the outermost shell of lithium? How many electrons? Okay, you only have 1 electron in the outermost shell. Okay, so we now continue with the fifth part. Okay, the fifth step is going to be... Okay, the fifth step, if you remember it, yung orbitals. And we go back to step number 3 for this. What do? We just write these as units. Okay, so these as units. So 1 is 2, and then 2 is 2. Preferably, you arrange them like this. Okay, kasi remember, you're going to draw like, blanks. You're going to draw lines next to them. So, mas maganda kung i-arrange nyo sila ng ganito, ng vertically. Okay, so you have your S. How many blanks do you need to draw? You only need to draw 2 blanks. Okay, that's, 1 blank. That's 1 orbital. And then you are going to draw how many blanks for another S. Of course, another 1 next to it. Okay, I'm sorry. Mali pala itong ano natin. It's 1s2, 2s1. So 1s2, 2s1. Okay, so let me just write that again. 1s2, 2s1. Okay, so for 1s2, you have 2 electrons to distribute. Okay, 1 upward electron and 1 downward electron. For 2s1, okay, you're only going to write 1 upward electron because wala na siyang isang kasama pang electron. Ayan. So, for the last step for lithium, it's step number 6. Remember, this is the Lewis symbol. So, remember, in drawing the Lewis symbol, you just need to draw or write the chemical symbol for the element, which is Li for lithium. And then, draw, okay, the number of dots that you will find in the outermost energy level, in the electrons, okay, based from the electrons in the outermost energy level. Yung energy level number 1, first energy level, it has 2 electrons. Yung second energy level naman, it has 1 electron. Between these 2 energy levels, alin sa kanila yung outer? Okay, mas malayo sa nucleus. Yeah, it will be the second energy level. And in the second energy level has how many electrons? It has only 1. And therefore, you're only going to draw 1 dot. Ayan. So that ends example B. We are now going to move to example letter C. Hello and welcome to the third example, example C. Okay, so example C is more complicated than the previous one. This is going to be carbon. So example C. And so C for carbon. Actually, hindi ko naman sinadya yan. So we begin again with the usual first step of writing the, okay, I'm sorry, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, wait. Oh. Ayan. Example C. We're going to start with writing the symbol for carbon and then the atomic mass for it, which is 12. Okay, remember, we're supposed to, use the atomic mass na naka-round sa nearest ones. Okay, so whole number na lang dapat siya. Tanggalin natin yung decimal, i-round up natin siya. So it's going to be 12. Okay. Ayan, 12. And then the atomic number is 6. So as usual, the second step is going to be reporting how many electrons are found in the carbon. So electrons are equal to 6. I see, kasi equal to the atomic number. And then for the third part, we'll be writing down its electron configuration. So we begin with 1s2. Okay, kompleto lahat yung electrons na kailangan niya. 2s2. Again, dalawa lang yung pwede niya. Sapat na yun. And then next one is 2p. But instead of 6, it will only have 2. Okay. So why is that so? Because we only need to distribute 6 electrons. And remember, these are electrons, so we have already 2, 2, and then 2. So kulang lang dito is dalawa. So instead, even though P can accommodate 4 more electrons, wala na tayong isusunod na dalawang electrons. So ubos na yung mga i-distribute natin. Also, take note that we have 1 here as first energy level, and these 2 right here, they are both representing the second energy level. So kung ano yung mga electrons na nasa kanila, okay, pareho makikita yan sa second energy level. Now, we step to the fourth step. Okay, we step to the fourth step. Ayan, so the fourth step is to draw. We draw the nucleus, and then we draw how many energy levels are going to be found. So the nucleus is this usual circle here. And then the energy levels that are present are only 1 and 2. Remember what I told you, itong dalawang ito, they're just representing the same energy level. So 1 is the first energy level, then the second energy level is this one. Okay, remember, okay, Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral number 2. Okay, now we are going to identify the number of protons found. So for the number of protons, okay, it's the same as the number of electrons, 6. And then for the number of neutrons, we subtract the number of protons from the atomic mass, which is 12. So 12 minus 6 is equal to 6. Very good. For the first energy level, we are going to find how many electrons? Okay, we are going to find 2 electrons. It's actually stable already. And then for the second energy level, we're going to find how many electrons? There will be 4 electrons. Okay, so 2 plus 2 is, they both belong to the second energy level. So again, it's just the same energy level. So you'll be finding 4 electrons in the second energy level. Ayan, and then for the fifth step, okay, remember, we're supposed to go back to step number 3, but this time we'll be writing these as units, and they're going to be written vertically. So for step number 5, yeah. For step number 5, we are going to write them down. 1s2, 2s2, and then 2p2. Ayan. And then, since this is S, how many blanks are we going to write? Only 1. This is another S, another 1 blank. And then this is P. How many blanks are we going to draw? Okay, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we are going to distribute 2 electrons in this orbital. So one is an upward spin, and the other one's a downward spin. And then 2 electrons pa rin dito. So 1 upward spin, 1 downward spin. Ang reference natin itong number na to, ha? Okay, these numbers. Dalawa. Okay, so ayan sila. Na-distribute. Ayan. Na-distribute sila. Now, for 2p2, there are 3 blanks, pero we start with 1 upward and then another upward. Okay, we're supposed to draw 1 more upward here, pero remember, you only have 2 electrons, so you distribute them. Ayan. So this is how it's going to be written then. Okay, for the 6th step, okay, the last step is going to be the Lewis structure. So remember, we're just going to draw or to write the symbol for the element, and then we are just going to look back at step number 4 and see how many electrons are found in the outermost level. Itong mga electrons na to, okay, are also called as the valence electrons. And this energy level right here is what you call as the valence shell. Okay. Ito, hindi siya valence shell kasi hindi siya outermost. Okay, nasa may loob siya. So, how many electrons are there in the valence shell? In other words, how many valence electrons are there? There are 4. So, you draw, start from here, 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. There are 4 dots surrounding C, and that is the Lewis symbol for carbon. And now you're done with example C. We can now move to example D. So you're done with example C. We now move to example D. Okay, so medyo mas magiging komplikado tayo ngayon, ha? Okay, so just prepare yourselves for that. Again, this is example D. It's supposed to be more complicated. Pero I'm hoping na yung mga previous examples, okay, they gave you an idea as to kung paano talaga yung process. And no matter how big the atom is, kaya nyo na siyang i-identify. Okay, for example, D, okay, we'll be using the following element, phosphorus, P. Okay, phosphorus has the following atomic mass. It's 30.974, but we will be using 31. 31. And the atomic number for phosphorus is 15. Can you confirm that in your periodic tables? Okay. And then for the second step, as usual, the number of electrons. So how many electrons are there? There will be 15. Remember, atomic number is equal to electron. It's equal to proton. Yeah. And then for the third step, we need to distribute those electrons in the electronic configuration for phosphorus. So for the electronic configuration of phosphorus, we begin as usual with 1s2. 1s2. 2s2. 2p6. So for how many electrons do we already have? So we have 2 plus 2, 4 plus 6, 10. So kulang pa tayo ng 5. Okay, so 5 pa yung kailangan natin distribute. 2p6. Now, where will that go next? Okay, it will go to 3s2. 3s2. Okay, so nadagdagan ng dalawa. Ilan na lang yung kulang? 3. Okay, so next one is going to be 3p3. Again, instead of 3p6, meron lang tayo natitirang 3 electrons, so yun lang pwede natin i-distribute. So 3p3 na lang yan. And then that ends the third step. We now go to the fourth step. Okay, the fourth step again is we draw the nucleus. Okay, and then we draw the energy levels present. So we have one energy level, then the second energy level represented by these two. And then the third energy level represented by these two. These are both the third energy level. These are the both second energy level. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So the first energy level, Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2, Roman numeral 3. This is what I do lang to para di kayo malito. Okay. So how many protons are found in the nucleus of phosphorus? Okay, if there are 15 electrons, how many protons are there? Very good, 15. And then for neutrons, how many are there? Okay, get the mass, and then subtract the number of protons from the mass. 31 minus 15, that's going to be, okay, 16. Tama ba yung math ko? Tama ba yung math? Okay. Now, the first energy level is going to be containing how many electrons? Okay, so based from here, the first energy level has 2 electrons. So, stable na siya. Okay na siya doon. The second energy level, represented by these, 2s2 and 2p6, has how many electrons? So, 2 and 6, that's going to be 8. Ayan. And then for the third energy level, represented by these two, meron tayong 2 plus 3. That's going to be 5. 5 electrons. Ayan. So, step number 5 niyan is going to be writing these units vertically. So, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, and then 3s2, and then 3p3. Ayan. So, how many blanks are you going to write here? Since S ito, only 1. S, 1. P, 3. S, 1. P, 3 again. Yan. And then, we'll be distributing the atoms, the electrons. How about we use a different kind of pen kaya? Ito. So, 1 is upward, and then 1's downward. Okay, and then 1 is upward, another 1's downward. And then, for these 6, we'll be distributing them like this. So, una, upward muna, and then downward. And then for 3s2, isang upward, isang downward. And then for 3p3, upward, upward, upward. Okay, wala nang natirang isa pang okay, wala nang natitirang mga electrons na ito na yung tatlo, 1. So, 1, 2, and 3. Wala na tayong ida-downward dyan. So, that ends step number 5. Now, step number 6 is going to be for the Lewis symbol. So, how do we write this? Again, take the chemical symbol. The symbol for phosphorus is P. And then, look back at step number 4, the valence shell. Okay, this is again the valence shell. And how many valence electrons are there? There are 5. Okay, so start here. You'll be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so that ends example letter D. Okay. So I'm hoping that you are developing some higher degree of mastery because example E is going to be more complicated. Okay, so you're now ready to move through example E. Welcome to example E. Okay, as promised, this is going to be more complicated. Okay, so I want to use the blue one. Ayan. Example E. So far, ayos ka pa naman ba? Hopefully, ayos ka pa. Okay, so let's now continue with example E. The element we'll be using for this example is selenium or selenium. Okay, so it's Se. Selenium has an atomic mass of what? You may look at your periodic tables first. Okay. Selenium is 78.971. Since it's 78.971, we can round it up to 79. And then, what is its atomic number? Okay. 34. Okay, so this is quite a big, atom compared sa example B. Pero okay, no doubt, kaya nyo yan. Okay, example E is bigger, pero kaya natin to. Okay, so, yeah, for the second step, remember, it is reporting the number of electrons present in selenium. So, we refer to the atomic number, which is 34. There are 34 electrons to be distributed. Okay? And then, for the third step, we will be writing the electron configuration for selenium. So, for the third step, it's going to be the electron configuration. We start with 1s2. Again, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, and then, lagyan na to 3d10. And the last one is 4p4. Okay, tama ba? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10, and 4p4. Okay, so for the fourth step, we will be drawing the nucleus for selenium. Okay, so the nucleus and the number of energy levels present in selenium. So we have how many energy levels? We have 1. These 2 represent the second energy level. 3. We have 4 energy level. Okay, so third, ito siya. So itong talong to, they're all for the third energy level. Lahat na meron silang electrons are all allocated for the third energy level. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so meron tayo ito. Ito siya. So this is the highest energy level. So Roman numeral number 1, number 2, number 3, and Roman numeral number 4. Alright, so we begin with the usual number of protons. How many are there? There are 34. Very good. And then the number of neutrons, how many are there? Number of neutrons, 45. So yeah, 34 plus 45, that's going to result to 79. Tama ba? Okay. Now, for the first energy level, there are 2 electrons. Okay, right here. So, 2 electrons. For the second energy level, okay, there are, 2s2 and 2p6. So, how many electrons are there? There are 8 electrons. For the third energy level, there are, 3s2, Ayan, 3p6 and 3d10. Ayan, so ilang electrons na meron siya? It will be 18. Okay, very good. And then for the last energy level, fourth energy level, we have 2 and 4. Okay, so 2 plus 4 is going to be 6. 6 electrons are, okay, you'll be finding 6 electrons in the valence shell, okay, of selenium. Now, quick question. How many valence electrons does selenium has? Okay, the answer is 6. Now we move on to the fifth step. Okay, fifth step. We are going to rewrite step number 3, but this time vertically. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, and then 3d10, and then 4p4. Ayan. Okay, how many blanks will there be? So focus on the blanks first. Okay, so there will be 1, 2. For P, there will be 3. S1, P3, S1. For D, which is this is the first time, there will be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for the last one, there will be Okay, so I would like you to investigate muna whether or not we did a good job. Okay, these are all correct. Okay, wala na bang mali dyan? This time we'll be using a rainbow pen. Okay, so let's now put these electrons, the upward and the downward spin electrons. Okay, let's put them down. Write them down. Okay, so 1 upward, 1 downward. And then 1 upward, 1 downward. Upward, upward, and then downwards. Kasi 6 naman sila. Upward, downward. And then 6 din yan. Okay. And then upward and downward. And then D10, so 10 sila. Meron tayong 5 blanks. Lahat upward and then downward na. Yan. Ganda ng pen natin, ano? And then for 4p4, there will be, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So, walang kapartner itong dalawang ito. Okay, you can't pair them up. Remember, you need to write muna all of the upward spin electrons before you write the downward ones. Okay, so, that's it for step number 5. Okay, so step number 6. We will be writing Se, being the symbol for selenium. And then we go back to step number 4 and see which energy level is the outermost energy level. Is it 1? No. 2? Of course not. 3? Nope. Try again. 4. Okay, so the fourth energy level is the valence shell. It's the outermost energy level. And there are 6 electrons in the outermost energy level. So how do you draw them? So you have to start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, everyone, this is going to be the Lewis symbol for selenium. Okay, now check your work. Okay, look at your work, and if you were able to follow through, that's great. Okay, because we are now going to move on to the last example. Okay, so I hope you're ready for the last example. We will be using radon. Okay, so now we move on to the last example, example F. Welcome to example F. Okay, this is the last example that we will be having. Okay, so after nito, kailangan makapag-show na kayo ng competence sa ganitong klaseng problem solving, ha? Okay, so example F, we will be using a very big atom. It's called radon. Now, I would like you to look at the periodic table and locate radon. Radon is different from radium. That's a common mistake. This is Rn, radon. It's also a noble gas, so you will find it in the rightmost side, right-hand corner ng periodic table. Its atomic mass is 222, and then its atomic number is 86. Ayan. The second step is to report how many electrons will there be, yung mga i-distribute natin. And in this case, there will be 86. Remember, atomic number is equal to number of electrons equal to the number of protons. Okay, the third step is going to be the electron configuration for radon. Okay, so we write it down. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, and then 4s2, and then 3d10, and then 4p6. And after 4p6 comes 5s2. After that is 4d10. So 5 na yung pinakamalaki, no? 5d10. And then after 5d10 comes 5p6. And then 6s2. After 6s2 comes 4f14. Yan, may f na. 4f14. And then 5d10. And then after 5d10 comes the last one. It's 6p6. So again, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10, 4p6, 5s2, 4d10, then 5p6, 6s2, 4f14, 5d10, and 6p6. Okay? Hope tama rin ginawa ninyo. If you want to pause this video muna para makasabay, okay, if you want to do it, you may do that. Any point in this video that you need more time, just pause it. Now we continue with step number 4. Okay, so this is step number 4. Remember, we are going to draw, okay, the nucleus, and then we're going to count how many energy levels will there be. So merong 1, then may 2, okay, third energy level, fourth energy level are here, okay, fourth. Fifth energy level, hindi pa yan ng last. Meron pa tayong sixth energy level. Okay, so the sixth energy level is the highest energy level. So we draw it. We draw them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so let us label them properly para di tayo malito. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Ayan. So, how many? We start again with the number of protons. So, ilang protons ang makikita mo sa nucleus ng radon? Ilang proton? There will be 86. Very good. And then, the number of neutrons, there will be 222 minus 86. That's going to be 136. So, let's test it nga. So, 6 plus 6, that's going to be 12. 2, carry 1. That's going to be 9 plus 3 is 12. Carry 1. So that's 120. Okay, that's 222. Okay, so now for the number of electrons in each energy level, let's focus first with 1. There will only be 1. One for the first energy level. So there will be 2 electrons. So 2 electrons. For the second energy level, we have 2s2 and then 2p6. Okay, so there will be 8 electrons. For the third energy level, there is 3s2, 3p6, and 3d10. So there will be, 18 electrons. For the fourth energy level, there is 4s2, 4p6, 4d10, and 4f14. So 2 plus 6 is 8, plus 10 is 18, plus 14, it will be 32. Tama ba? Tama ba? Okay. And then for the fifth energy level, there is 5s2, there is 5p6, and then 5d10. So this one too has 18 electrons. And then for the sixth energy level, there is 6s2 and 6p6. So it's going to be 8. Ayan. So radon has 8 electrons in its outermost shell, in its valence shell. That's why, radon, being in among the noble gases, it's a noble gas. It's said to be stable. Okay, so stable siya kasi saktong-sakto din yung 6p6. So Kaya stable siya. It's a noble gas, it's an inert gas. Okay, so it is not expected to react with any other element. Ayan, so the fifth step, okay, medyo minove ko na siya ng konti, okay? I hope you understand kasi medyo maano na to, mahabang solution na to. Okay, yan. Siguro, unzoom na lang natin ng konti. Okay. Sige, kulang baka maduling kayo. Okay, so the fifth step is going to be writing down the electron configuration, this one, vertically. So, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 4p6, and then 4s2, 3s2, 3p6. I'm sorry, let's correct that. Okay, so after 3s2 comes 3s2, then 3p6, 3p6, and then 4s2, and then 3d10, 3d10, and then 4p6, 4p6, and then 5s2. I know, mahaba yung solution natin. Okay. So 5s2, then 4d10, 4d10, and then 5p6, and then after that is 6s2, and then after 6s2 comes 4f14, 4f14, and then after that is 5d10, 5d10, and then the last one is 6p6. Ayan siya. Okay, so nag-open yung isang application ko. Okay. But let us confirm if tama yung mga kinopy natin. Okay, so 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10, 4p6, 5s2, 4d10, and then we have 5p6, 6s2, 4f14, and then 5d10, and then 6p6. Ayan. Okay, so now we continue with writing the blanks next to it. Okay, so the blanks next to it are the following. So for S, there will only be 1. Then for S, 1 again. Then for P, there will be 3. And then for another S, 1. For P, there will be 3. S1, D5. Ayan. And then P3, S1, D5. And then 4P to 4P6, it's 3. S1, F is going to be 7. Okay, D is 5. And then P is 3. Ayan. So, di ko sinabing PS3 ha, baka akala nyo PS3. Ayan, so we will be writing down or drawing now the electrons, okay, and their spins. Okay? So for this, okay, upward, downward. The same old things we do. Upward muna lahat, tapos downward. Yan. And then, okay, since 4p6 siya, dapat 6 yan. Okay. Dami, no? Pero at least, by doing this, you would see the electrons doing movement. So, some electrons are moving upward, sometimes more electrons are moving upwards, and then, compared to the electrons moving downwards. And that will affect the behavior of the element, of the atom. Ayan. And then 6p6, so sakto lang siya. Ayan. So that is for the step number 5. Okay, so we're done with step number 5. Okay, now we move on to step number 6. So for step number 6, we need to have a review of again of step number 4. So step number 6 is the Lewis symbol. So how do we do that? We write first the symbol for radon, and then we're going to count how many electrons are in the outermost shell. So remember, in the outermost shell of radon, we have 8 electrons. So we draw it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That makes it a very stable atom. That's why it belongs to the noble gases. This ends example letter F. Okay, so ito lahat siya. Ayan. Hopefully magkasya siya sa screen. So there you are. There it is. Example F. You can now go back to the presentation. So there you have it. All of those examples. Okay, keep them in mind. Okay, if you need to repeat the video, you can always go back here and catch up dun sa part na hindi nyo pa ganun nagigets. Okay, but so far you were able to finish the following: activity number 2 on the Lewis symbol, and then a discussion on the operations in chemistry, an element's atomic number and mass, number of electrons, electronic configuration, energy levels, orbitals, and Lewis symbol. This is the knowledge catalog, and this is still Sir Carlos. I hope that you're still getting the sufficient amount of information you're expected to get from these video lessons. I would like to express my thanks to all of you, because by now we already have had 1,000 subscribers. Okay, thank you so much for your support. Like this video, or click on that bell so that you'll be notified once I upload new material. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.